Virgo, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below, and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. Doo, doo, doo. It's weird, an extra one came out there. I'm just going to keep it. You have 3 cards in your fears. What's up with that, Virgo? What's up with that? All right, so for your hopes, you have the Tower in the inverse and the Nine of Cups in the inverse. So it's almost like the Nine of Cups in the inverse, I sometimes get the feeling of codependency from. So it feels very much to me like you are searching inside, that you are rearranging your value system to find a sense of independence. You don't want to rely on the influence of groupthink. So it's almost like you're stepping away from the group and you're questioning, because the Tower is about an outside disrupting force that makes you question your value system. It disrupts your foundation. But it's in the inverse here, so it's almost like you're putting that back together. Okay? So, like I said, it feels to me like you're stepping away from the group to really filter your beliefs through your own morals, through your own understanding, through your own schema, to ensure that the decisions that you make regarding your morality, regarding your values, are actually your own and you can stand by them. The fear that you have, it's interesting because you have the 6 of Cups in the upright and you have the 6 of Wands in the inverse. So the fear that you have, it's kind of like, can I really apply new meaning and direction to my life now? And will that actually help me heal the past? So the fear that you have is a question of, is this really going to work? Because the third card that came out is the Wheel. And the Wheel is very, very interesting. So when I think about the Wheel, I often think about the letters on the wheel. You know, there's alchemic symbols on here and things like that, but there's also letters, and a lot of people don't realize it. It's T-O-R-A. So the Italian word for wheel is R-O-T-A, rota, I think is how it's pronounced. Is that Roman, or is that, I'm sorry, is that the Italian word, or is that the Latin word for wheel? I don't recall. Well, there's also Torah, which is Torah, which is the book of knowledge, the book of laws in Judaism. That's the Old Testament, you know, or Torah is like it's mentioned in the Old Testament. I'm kind of trying to remember. It's funny, I rely on feelings. Like I study the cards in words, but then I put them into feelings. But then there's also Tarot. If you start with the T-A-R-O and back to T again. So depending on which way you turn the wheel, depends on how your fortune will go. So when I talk about the Wheel of Fortune, it's not about luck. A lot of people think luck, like it's a lottery or the game Wheel of Fortune, like there's some sort of luck to it. But actually, it's the action that we take. So I think of it as like the steering wheel of life. You can turn it one way to get one outcome, and you can turn it another way to get the other outcome. So it's interesting that this popped up as the extra card in your fears, because you're wondering, is what I'm doing here, is my hope enough to heal what I've been through and move forward? Or am I just reframing it to kind of gloss over it? And what the wheel tells me is, well, it's up to you. Okay? So the victim mentality would be, why did this happen to me? This bad thing happened to me. Why did it happen? Was it somewhere out there? Was it something I did? Was it da da da? This thing happened to me. This thing happened to me. But to reframe your past experiences as, why did this happen for me? What did I learn from it? How do I recreate the good or eliminate or not make the same mistakes that I made before? So your fear here, is this enough? Well, that's up to you, and that's up to which way that you turn the steering wheel. Are you going to obtain a victim mentality from this, or are you going to obtain a new framework of why things happened in the past, Virgo? This is a very healthy fear. And I just did the Leo read, and I said the same thing to Leo. Leo had a very healthy fear in regards to finance. You have a very healthy fear in regards to your mental health and spirituality. The reality of the situation is, hmm, the reality of the situation is you might feel like you're stepping back from a group, okay? But you're not alone in stepping back from the group. And it was actually you who pulled away in order to get the ideas that you needed to get. So it's not like you were ostracized or pushed away. So it's not a sense of lack. It's just a feeling of disconnect. And you recognize that the disconnect is for a short time because you and only you can view these past mistakes. Only you can make sense of these spilt cups, but you're still aware that there's two full cups here. When you're done looking at the past, you can take what's left and go back, cross the, as a friend of mine would say, cross that old river of tears and go back up to that castle in the sky. But you chose to take a moment and look at what happened. So again, how are you going to frame this? Is it going to be, why did this happen to me? Or why did this happen for me? So I'm going to bring you back to your hopes. If you're hoping to put together a new foundation, if you're hoping to really examine the rubble of what happened, the rubble? Yeah, that's the right word. If you're willing to examine those things that didn't go right and those rocks on the ground and look at what was wrong with the last foundation to make sure that you aren't in a sense of codependency anymore, then take the time to do that. That's what this is saying. You chose to take the time to do that. You stepped away from the group because there's something inside you that needs to heal. You want to look at why you do the things you do and how you do the things you do. You want to make sense of the past and you want to bring that wisdom into the future. This is not the first time I've done a Virgo reading where I've said this quote, but the quote, and I'll actually put it in the description again because I think I did that for you guys last time. The quote that I have here for this reading is that wisdom is crystallized pain. And that's what you're doing right now, Virgo. You're crystallizing your pain and you're turning it into wisdom in the hopes that you can help others. But you can only do that after you've helped yourself. I'm not going to pull any clarifiers because I think that the message that needed to come out has come out. This is a time of introspection. The Virgo card of the deck is the Hermit, which is kind of the theme of the reads that we're having for everybody this week. That's why I've been putting these cards here. But I think you're doing exactly what you need to do in order to gain that sense of independence in spirituality and mental health. And Virgo, I think it's a good thing. Because all the Virgos I know tend to give too much of themselves from time to time and not save enough for themselves. This is you doing just that, and not a moment too late. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you guys next week.